Hey besties, welcome to today's tutorial. My name is Blessing of Sue with Octavia, and in today's video we're going to be learning how to make these shots in easy steps. If you've always been struggling on how to make shots, then this video is for you. Easy peasy, and let's delve right into the video. So the first thing I want to do is to fold your fabric into two pieces, then mark out 3 inches from the open part of the fabric like so. See, that's the open part. So I mark out 3 inches from the open part there. That is to help me with my flap. Then I measure my waist measurement. That line I'm drawing there is just to indicate my start point. Then from that line, which is the start point, I mark my waist to hip, which is 10 inches. Then also my waist to my flap. To get your flap measurement, you can either measure from your waist while sitting down on a chair, you measure from your waist to touching the chair, or from your hip measurement, you can easily come down by 2 inches, which is what I did here. So my hip measurement is 10 and I came down to the flap by 2. At the waist point, I mark my actual waist measurement with my allowance. At the hip point, I did my hip and my allowance. Now I connect my lines together, which is my waist line and my waist to my hip point. Then I extend that line down to my flap line like so. So you now take your round thigh measurement. With this for this tutorial, I'm working with a measurement of 24. So I actually indicated my allowances first so that you know what you are working with. From your actual body measurements, you mark facing where the 3 inches is. So that's the point I just marked now. So I just that use the French curve and connect my curve to the line as seen. So this serves at your crotch depth like so. So from there I get the length of my short. I worked with a short length of 20. Okay, then I put my hemming allowance like so. So at this point you need to blend the markings of the crotch depth to the length of the trouser to the hem point. Okay, so that's what I just did here. So I go back to my crotch depth and I blend the markings there to meet the length of my shorts like so. So from there, at this point you can either choose how tight or how free you want your trouser to be. From my thigh measurement, I just took it straight because I didn't want the shorts to be tight. This is a basic short, so no tightness. It's just very free and casual. So I cut out my front piece like so. So now to the back. Now when you are placing your front piece on your back, make sure you leave space at the top and also at the crotch, the side of the crotch depth. You see me measuring the part where I'm measuring. I measured 2 inches at the top and also measured an extension of 2 inches at the crotch for the back. Okay, just like so. You now connect it to the curve. You're not following the markings of the front. You're just trying to blend the extensions you made. So from that 2 inches, I blend it with a slight curve to meet the side of the front. So your center back is usually higher than the side of the trouser. This is how you connect it. The center back is higher. Okay, for the same thing I do here, the extension there, I also blend it to meet the short itself. So this is how it looks like. This short doesn't have a dart because it's not tight. It's just a fitted short. It's not tight. So there was really no need to incorporate with that. So this is me cutting out the back piece like this. So you trace it, I'll cut it then before we incorporate the pocket into the shorts. So the sides are actually the same, which is the sides of the shorts are actually the same, but the difference between the front and the back is reflects at the center back, up and down like that. So this is what it looks like when you're done. Now it's time for us to cut out the pocket. For the pocket depth, I used 3 inches wide by 7 inches depth, 3 inches wide, like so, like, and 7 inches coming down from there by 7 inches, like that. So I connect the line. You can either make it a straight line or with a slight curve like that, whichever according to your preference anyway. So I cut out a straight piece of fabric which is 12 inches deep. Okay, because you have to make it deep enough for your phone to be able to enter or stuff to be able to enter, so it stays in when you put in stuff, especially your phone or your money, you know. So the depth of the main pocket itself is 12 inches, while the marking on the short itself is 7 inches. So when I cut it out like this, I also cut also on the rectangular part I want to use for the pocket. So you place it together, you sew it like that. And first thing I did before I started sewing was to iron my interfacing on my short to give it a bit of strength, because shorts tends to rip most times, especially when it's tight. But even though this is not a tight short, I still interface or use a lining to strengthen it a little. So what I did now is pinning the pocket to the short itself like this. That part where we cut out, we replace it and sew it back. You do it for the two sides like this. After sewing, this is what it looks like. So you arrange it properly, turn it to the back and also to replace it. So this is how your pocket is going to. It's very easy. So actually people struggle with pockets for trouser or for short, but it's actually very easy if you follow these steps. So this is what it looks like after you iron it. So iron, then make sure the tip touches the other tip like that. Then you pin and sew it into place, and that's all. Front looks like after sewing down. You see it's deep enough to contain anything you want to contain. Then you sew the open part. So this is what you are done with the front. Now you place the back on the front. Now for this pocket, this shirt has a back zipper. So I sewed up to a particular point. That's where you can see where I pinned. I sewed up to a particular point and I stopped because the zipper will complete it. Now this extension now is that 2 inches extension we made when we're marking, so you can see it is reflecting in the shots. That's for your bum rise. That 2 inch extension is for your bum rise at the back. So I pin everything together, then I start shaping my shorts according to measurements. When I'm done, I also markings for shaping the inner part of the shorts. You need to be very careful when you're sewing a short to trouser, because it tends to one part always tends to be longer than the other part. So after shaping, this is what I have neatly ironed, and we are going to fix our band. For my band, I used size of 1.5 inches as my band. I already interfaced it and ironed it, so this is what it looks like. I pin it round the waistline of the short like this, then go to my sewing machine and I sew it down. After sewing, this is what it looks like. Then I incorporate my zip at the end. This is what we have. I hope it's something you try out, and if you watched us fast, kindly hit the subscribe button, like, comment and share our content, and I will see you in my next video.